Welcome back, strangers. In the 1940s, a series of mysterious disappearances and murders caused locals to abandon the town of Portlock, Alaska. Many believe these deaths were caused by the Nantinaq, a Bigfoot-like creature lurking on the outskirts of town. What really happened in this small Alaskan village that made all 31 residents flee in terror? Portlock was a thriving fishing village. The area is known for its scenic beauty, with towering mountains, glaciers, and abundant wildlife. It was an active cannery community until it was abandoned. The town gained national attention when a series of unexplained and unsolved deaths occurred in the small town. The exact number of victims and details of the deaths vary, but it's widely believed that several people were murdered in the town over a period of several years. Despite the extensive investigations by law enforcement, no suspect was ever identified, and the case remains open. The Portlock murders continue to be the subject of much speculation in the area, with many believing that a serial killer was responsible for the deaths, while other locals believe that the attacks were caused by a local Bigfoot-like creature, and may be one of the best examples of a violent encounter with the elusive creature. Bigfoot is often described as a large, hairy, ape-like creature that is said to inhabit the remote areas of the Pacific Northwest region of the United States and Canada. Locals thought that they had their own version of Bigfoot in the area known as the Nantinaq, but they hadn't had any problems with the creature until the unexplained events that began occurring in the area. Their first reports that something was amiss in Portlock came from the cannery camp that struggled to keep staff. Many of the men kept leaving because something was bothering the camp. The camp was filled with fear and uncertainty as unexplained events occurred almost every day, such as food going missing and equipment being destroyed. Hunters and gold miners in the area began going missing at an unusually high rate. One man who was out chopping wood was found murdered by a single blow that would have been impossible for a human to inflict. One group of hunters was stalking a deer when they noticed a huge set of footprints that were also following it. They continued tracking the deer and eventually came across a gruesome scene. They found huge amounts of blood surrounded by 18-inch footprints, yet there was no carcass to be found. The footprints continued on into the foggy mountains, but none of the hunters were brave enough to follow. One man was walking along the beach when he saw a huge hairy man destroying fishing wheels along the coast. He ran back to his house to get his gun, and when he returned, the giant man simply stared at him and walked off. Bodies began washing up in the lagoon with strange wounds that no bear could inflict. The townspeople began to panic and abandon the area. In 1950, the post office closed, and the last resident left Portlock. There is no credible evidence to suggest that a Bigfoot-like creature was responsible for the Portlock, Alaska murders. The idea that Bigfoot or any other unknown species could have been involved in the deaths is purely speculation and is not supported by any scientific or forensic evidence. The Portlock murders remain unsolved, and the cause of the deaths have yet to be determined. It's also important to note that any claims involving Bigfoot and violence are extremely rare, and none of them have ever been substantiated. Despite numerous reported sightings and alleged evidence, there is still no scientific proof of Bigfoot's existence, and many scientists and experts consider the Bigfoot phenomenon to be a simple combination of folklore, hoaxes, and misidentification of natural phenomena. The scientific community is highly skeptical of all Bigfoot claims. Until there is solid evidence to support the existence of the creature, it remains a matter of simple debate and speculation. There is no credible evidence to suggest that a Bigfoot-like creature was responsible for the Portlock, Alaska murders. The Portlock, Alaska murders remain unsolved. There have been no official suspects named in the case, and the cause of deaths and identity of the person or persons responsible remains unknown. The lack of concrete evidence and remote location of the crime scene have made it difficult for investigators to determine what happened. The case remains open and is occasionally reviewed by authorities, but no significant information has emerged in recent years. It is possible that the cause of the deaths and the identity of those responsible may never be determined. What do you think really happened? Were the events the result of a serial killer, Bigfoot, or just a series of unfortunate events that spooked the locals into abandoning their town? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay strange.